What's up, everybody? So today is the second, and we are finally back to a new year and all that stuff. So everything right now is literally in shambles with DC, and I don't care what people say. Look, I'm gonna tell you straight up. Today's topic: no compromising. That's it. There is no compromising. I am not going to settle for anything, and I am not going to accept everything that this studio wants to give us because in the end we're customers, consumers, and we're fans, and we're going to get what we want regardless what people say and try to bring us down. New year, new all that, and we're going to stay focused on track to continue to keep on fighting for the Snyderverse. And of course today's the big trending event, and we have to go hard with this because it's very important for us to keep on fighting for this. Jack, what's up? Appreciate you for watching. Happy New Year also. Appreciate everybody's tuning in and stuff like that. Appreciate y'all. Bradley, Shamar Wallace, what's up? What's up? Austin, what's up? What's up? What's happening? Hopefully everybody's having a good start to the New Year's and all that stuff. So again, today's the big trending event, and we're gonna keep on going because again, we will stop at nothing, and that's the goal. That's what everything is supposed to be, and we're gonna stay focused on it. Um, yeah, for 2027 with the Batman and 2028, who knows what the hell's gonna happen. I'm not interested, honestly. I don't care what they do with Matt Reeves. I don't care what they're doing with the DCU, whatever they want to call it. I'm just not interested. I'm only interested with the Snyderverse and for it to get restored, and that's the main goal. Honestly, in the end, that's all we need to keep on fighting for, and we need to stay focused on, especially if Netflix is gonna acquire them and whatever nonsense is gonna come from this, we have to just stay on track and have to keep on fighting because in the end, there's no compromising. Period. I don't want Snyderverse content in animation or comic book or whatever the hell they want to do with it. No, it has to be live action with the original cast, composers, people that were on it and stuff like that. That's all I want, honestly. And we're gonna keep on fighting. Yeah, I saw the whole thing with Netflix is focusing on giving 17 days in theaters. That's complete BS, honestly. That's ridiculous, and it's just showing you that they just care about streaming. I'm gonna tell y'all straight up, whoever is down with Netflix and wants just Netflix and Netflix and Netflix, I'm telling you right now, you're part of the problem. You're the reason why this industry continues to sink. I stand with Christopher Nolan because, of course, Christopher Nolan, he backs up physical media, theatrical releases and everything that has to do with everything, with this movie industry and stuff like that. Right now is very important because the movie industry right now, it's not that it's hurting. It's just that you have the wrong people in Hollywood. If you focus and give people good content, you're gonna make money. We saw it with F1. We saw it with Jurassic World Rebirth. We're seeing it with all these movies that are making a lot of money at the box office. Some people are gonna be like, "Oh, the movie theaters are dying and this and that." No, they're not. No, they're not. They're still going. They're strong. But the thing is, when you have the wrong people in Hollywood writing all these movies and giving shitty films, I mean, people are not gonna go watch it. People are not gonna support it. There's a lot of people now that are turning their backs on James Gunn and DCU and Supergirl. I'm telling you right now, Supergirl is going to flop at the box office. It's not going to. It's not appealing to a lot of fans. There's a lot of fans that are turning on it and they're disappointed. They're not happy with it and they're like, yeah, I'm just not interested anymore because they're starting to catch on. Look, talking about Stranger Things that you're bringing up, I just saw it. Literally, I just, oh man, what a mess. What a mess. I'm not into Stranger Things, but I just wanted to see what it was about and stuff like that. And look, the ending was trash, was bad. So anybody that says, oh, Netflix is going to care about the IP, they're going to care about this and that. No, they're not. No, they're not. They just want to own the IP. They don't give a damn about it. As long as they have it and they can do what they want, how they want, yo, that Stranger Things, it's pushing heavy on agendas. It is pushing heavy. I was like, what the hell is this? Like, I don't watch it. I'm not aware of it. I don't care about it. I'm not interested in, that show or whatever. And literally, I was like, what the hell is this mess? They're literally pushing agendas. I'm telling you right now, Netflix is all about bullshit agendas. And if you support Netflix and you're like, oh, well, Netflix is the way, Netflix is the one, guess what? You're the one that's delusional. I am sorry to say it, but that's just how it is. 2026, I am not compromising. I'm done with the bullshit. I'm done with the excuses. I'm done of these fake fans out here saying, oh, they're the ones that are going to fix it. They're the ones that are going to help it and blah, blah. Nah, nah, nah. The real deal ones know what's up. Netflix doesn't care. All they care about is just their streaming service, locking you in a streaming service, and raising the price because that's all they're going to care about in the end. Straight up. That's all they're going to care about, you know? If they really cared about physical and, theatrical releases, they would have done that a long time ago. Not now all of a sudden because, there's a bidding war and stuff like that. So, I'm telling you right now, James Gunn has no chance against Marvel. James Gunn has no chance with the DCU against the MCU. And I get that some people are like, "Oh, the MCU this and that." Look, I'm gonna tell you right now, the old Marvel is back. That's it. If you're not convinced and you're not seeing it, I'm telling you straight up, you're also delusional. I'm sorry to tell you straight up. Marvel is back, baby. The old Marvel, they're cleaning house over at Disney. Disney's not playing around anymore. They are straight up cleaning house. And they've been firing a lot of people that were doing and pushing, the woke agendas and all that trash. They're getting rid of it. So it's not going to be overnight that things are going to just be like, oh, wow, it's going to be good. No, you got to give it time. And that's what they're doing. This is why they're starting a year in advance to market Doomsday. All right. I know some of us are thinking, I'm one of them. I was thinking about it earlier. I'm like, damn, how are they gonna go back and how do you go and literally not screw up what happened at Endgame with Tony Stark, that he dies and whatever. So I'm like, this better be good. But again, I know the Russos are gonna do good, the Russo brothers are gonna do good with it and stuff like that. So there's a reason why they brought them back and things. And I'm excited. I'm really excited again for the MCU, and that's what I wish we could do with DC. Unfortunately, I can't say the same thing. And honestly, like it's just like how do you say this with James Gunn? That whole DCU cannot go up against the MCU. It just cannot because James Gunn is a joke. Everything that he's putting out is just straight up comedy, and you're straight up gonna have like that tone going up against the MCU. You can't. The MCU is fixing everything. You can see that they're fixing Thor. You can see that they're fixing, Captain America. They're trying to do everything good again. And that's what I believe in what they're doing, and seeing how they're going to start setting up leading into Doomsday with, the next step is going to be Secret Wars. And then after that, supposedly the Russo brothers are going to be working on the X-Men. So what they're trying to do is they're going to be having their big IPs because eventually after Secret Wars, they're going to have X-Men versus the Avengers. And that takes place in the comics and stuff like that. So they're going to have, material, if you want to say, and fans are going to eat for the next probably 20 years from now, and it's going to be crazy, Meanwhile, DC can't get their shit together, because of course they got away from Zack Snyder and they didn't want to do nothing with him anymore. But yet they released the Snyder Cut because we kept on fighting for it and we have it now. So that quality is the only one that can literally go up against the Russo brothers and the MCU, the Avengers, with Zack Snyder's Justice League. That's it. That's the only way that DC can come back and it could just completely destroy Marvel. And if you're seeing how this is all happening, look, I'm gonna be honest with you. I think that David Zaslav is low key on like he's just against quality. He doesn't care. David Zaslav only cares about also pushing agendas. I don't care because how are you going to turn down $108 billion from Paramount? Say what you want, but these companies have that money. They got the money. It's a dirty business. It's Hollywood. They can get it. They have their ways. That's all that matters. And this whole thing with Netflix just pushing again agendas with all their content. We're seeing it. They just want to own IPs. That's it. That's all they care about. I'm telling you right now. Look, if you watched and you've seen K-pop Demon Hunters, I'm gonna tell you right now, they're right now working on the next season, and I think it's supposed to come out like 2028 or something like that. The only thing I'm gonna tell you right now is I guarantee you when they bring out the next season, it's gonna be all filled with agendas, straight up. Right now, it's good because of course they're gaining the customers, they're gaining the trust, like fake politicians. They're doing the same thing, pulling all of those stunts. And in the end, watch when they end up putting out season 2, like they just did with Stranger Things. They're gonna be pushing more agendas, and all that crap that nobody cares about, and that's why these brands are going downhill. People just want good movies. That's all. Like I wish I could say I'm excited for what DC is doing. I am not excited as a fan, customer, consumer. I don't care. I do not care. And many of you might be like, oh, well, all you do is rant. All you do is complain. All you do is like, we're getting content. You should be eating it up. No, again, it falls under not compromising. I'm tired of people making excuses and trying to justify this company and these IPs with these characters. It's just not like that. It shouldn't be like that. Superman from James Gunn 2025 was ridiculous. It was a joke. It was insane. That wasn't Superman. Let's be real. It wasn't Superman. That was trash. Supergirl coming up, it's also going to be trash. You know what was good? And this is why you see all of these James Gunn fanatics, and not only the James Gunn fanatics, anybody that pushes agendas and loves agendas are the ones that are supporting James Gunn. Those are the fake fans. Those are the reason why DC is the way it is right now. All of that went downhill with Kevin Sujihara, with Ann Sarnoff, the Walter Hamada, Jeff Johns, Toby Emmerich. All these clowns continuing with Joss Whedon, and now where we are right now with James Gunn. It also went downhill with Andy Muschietti. All of these directors and all these people in power have no clue. They don't know what quality is. The only ones that know what quality is, and they always give them shit for it, is Mike DeLuca and Pam Abdi. And I get it. Mike DeLuca also sold out, when Superman came out, but it's because he was trying to save his job. But whatever, it is what it is. And now he's been appointed and he's going to be, something, big probably over there at WB. But the thing is that his contracts, him and Pam, their contracts got extended for a few years. So that tells you that they're in good shape. James Gunn, we don't know now. Yes, it got extended until next year because we're in 2026 now, but until next year in spring, all right? His contract was supposed to end this year, all right? We're in 2026 in November. And with David Zaslav, he's protecting him. So, of course, they extended it for another, 3 months, 90 days, whatever the hell it is. I'm telling you right now, if this sale continues to drag and it keeps on getting extended, which I think is going to happen, just hear me out. I think this sale is going to keep on being extended, and they're going to drag it out as much as they can just to bullshit and try to do what they want to do to extend James Gunn's contract. And I guarantee you, as long as David Zaslav is attached, they are going to keep on extending his contract. Unfortunately, that's just what this business is all about. That's all they care about. They care about pushing agendas. And you can see right now, Marvel is straight up like they're ramping up. They're getting their things together. They're getting their act together. And in the end, that's all that matters. The only way that DC right now can redeem themselves when it comes to the cinematic universe is by them restoring the Snyderverse. They have to do the same thing. You want to copy and paste the whole Marvel formula? There you go, WB. Wake up and copy the Marvel formula right now. Now I tell you, copy Marvel to the fullest, because Marvel is bringing all the old actors, actresses, and it's not just, oh, let's do it because of nostalgia. No, it's not that. That's one part, but it worked. You know why? Because Deadpool and Wolverine proved it. They made $1 billion. They brought old people, modern people, and they're setting up the future. That's how you do it. That's what Marvel did. They crushed it. And that's why they made the money that they did with Deadpool and Wolverine. And for that, well deserved. They did it right. And that's why you see now Deadpool and Wolverine, they were traveling through the multiverse, fixing things. They were fixing all the mess that was behind, which was with Fox Studios, what they were doing before, whatever the hell it was, right? They did all of that. Even when they brought in Henry Cavill as a variant of Wolverine. I remember when the rumors were going around, a lot of people were like, no, it won't happen. Henry Cavill will never work for Marvel. And look, proved everybody wrong. You see what I'm saying? Now the next rumor that's flying around is that for Secret Wars, not Doomsday, Secret Wars, both Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck, because Ben Affleck's going to reprise his role again as Daredevil for Secret Wars. Not now, because right now, they're setting up with Doomsday and stuff like that. They're focusing probably on the variants. And then I think what I'm thinking is that at the end, they're just going to set up where it's like, okay, now they're really traveled all around the multiverse, because we saw it in Deadpool and Wolverine. We saw it in Spider-Man No Way Home. You're going to have 3 Spider-Mans. You're going to have 3 Wolverines. You're going to have 3 Hulks. You're going to have 3 Cyclops. You're going to have 3 characters of each when it comes to Secret Wars. And that's going to be big. That's going to be massive. The only thing that DC can go up against to that level when it comes to, how this cinematic universe is just unfolding is by them literally bringing back Zack Snyder, David Ayer, have to release the air cut. They have to go back to what was working, what was bringing people to the movie theaters. I guarantee you, the moment that they restore the Snyderverse, you know what's going to happen? Ticket sales are going to sell out. Physical media, everything that's left still is going to continue to sell out. That whole hype, that whole excitement that everybody was like a few years ago before James Gunn took over, before the pandemic and all that, that's what's going to come back again. And Marvel knows it. Marvel knows it and they capitalize with Deadpool and Wolverine. This is DC's chance again. And again, time after time, DC continues to drop the ball. They've missed out on DC fandom so many years. Literally, that was working for them. They could have just been, you know what? We're going to use DC fandom and do it like PlayStation. All you got to do is just like Nintendo. You know, when they announce their stuff and they do special events, big announcements, that's what you need to do. And that's what DC has been lacking. And with James Gunn doesn't care. All he cares about is what James Gunn is going to do, how he's going to do, and where he's going to put it out. That's it. He doesn't care about nothing. He's even said it. He's made fun of these characters. He thinks that Batman is boring. He thinks superheroes are stupid. But yet he's in charge, right? That's what I'm telling you. That's the problem with DC. DC continues to allow the wrong people to be in power. They leave half-assed things, meaning they'll have Mike DeLuca and Pam Abdi when, you know, we were fighting for the Snyder Cut and we got the Snyder Cut, you know. So thanks to them, they were pushing and, you know, they did what they had to do and we got it back. So cool, we got the, you know, the Snyder Cut. And now we're still pushing up against the studio, pushing up against, I don't give a damn who it is. I don't care if it sells. I don't care if it doesn't sell. The point is that we will stop at nothing and we cannot and will not compromise. Period. Period. When you have these fake fans saying, "Oh, I'll go ahead and I'll settle with a comic book and that's it," you know, but here's the but. Oh, but as long as James Gunn continues. Oh, now you want but, right? How come y'all weren't saying that when James Gunn was doing whatever the hell he was doing? Oh, to bring in Zack Snyder. Oh no, we can't have that, right? It was always an excuse and people were complaining about that stuff. That's what I'm saying. I'm just tired of all this, you know. This year, like I told y'all that on my last live stream. 2026, and I give a special shout out for to Mad Max because he had brought it up. We're not compromising, and that's the theme that I'm going with this year. This year, there's no compromising. Period. I'm not settling for less because I'm a real fan. I support quality. I support good stuff. I don't support trash. I don't support and settle for less with what James Gunn is putting out there. No, I'm not, and neither should we. Why should we keep on supporting a shitty company that doesn't care about what we really want? We want good content. Look, I'm gonna be real. If Matt Reeves is getting whatever the hell he's getting, James Gunn is doing whatever the hell he wants to, and Andy Muschietti could do whatever the hell he wants to. If they're gonna move with what is it in 2 years? I guess they would want to start filming in 2028 early. Batman Brave and the Bold. If we even make it that far with James Gunn, but at the rate that we're going, I don't see nothing changing right now. Unfortunately. It has to be proven otherwise. Like I told y'all, no compromising and actions speak louder than words. Because if Netflix, quote unquote, does acquire WB and everything with it, talk is cheap. I want to see actions. Are you going to continue with James Gunn? Are you going to get rid of him? And if they renew his contract, I'm telling you right now, people, wake up, please. If they renew James Gunn's contract again, guess what? That means he's sticking around. Accept the reality. That's the fact. As long as we see David Zaslav still attached, literally, to anything that has to do with WB, nothing is going to change. The only way we make it change is simple. We have to keep our wallets closed. We have to lock them and that's it. Keep them closed and locked. That's it. Screw that. No more excuses. That's what the studio wants. The studio just wants everybody to be like, you know what? Just accept what we're putting out. And that's what you're going to have to deal with. People have had enough. People are tired. Look, Marvel learned a lesson when they started seeing all their products going downhill. It happened after with Loki. Season 1 was okay. Season 2, they were starting to lose ratings. And then when they put out what it was, Captain America and I think it was what's his name? Or Falcon, I don't remember, with that other dude. I didn't even see that show. And then I think I probably saw one episode. I was like, damn, this is trash. It was boring. I didn't like it. Things got even worse when WandaVision came out. I was like, what the hell is this? Honestly, you know, like it ended like crap. And I was like, damn, this is just way too much. You know, like they've tapped way too deep into the multiverse that they didn't even know what they were doing. And then, of course, you had Doctor Strange 2, or I don't know. I'm not into Doctor Strange, so I don't keep up with what's out there. But all of these movies that have come out after and shows after Endgame, it just shows you where Marvel was at that time. So they said, "Damn, we're losing too much money." And that's what it was. They were losing a lot of money. People got fed up and said, "Yeah, we're not gonna be watching this." Even people that own, the Disney Plus and stuff like that, with their subscriptions, they were canceling those things. People were just like, "Nah, I'm not watching it." And it's already showing to Marvel, "Hey, with Disney, this isn't working. People just want good quality." So I'm sure. And then when we fast forward time, then we bring it to when the Russo brothers were having, that interview with Zack Snyder and stuff like that. And I knew something was up. I was like, "Yo, I don't trust the Russo brothers. They're from Marvel. They're with Disney. That's who they, that's where their loyalty lies. Let's be real. Marvel and Disney has that money to pay them. So of course they're gonna be, you know what, they bend both knees to the mouse." And when they were asking Zack Snyder, "Hey, what would you do? How would you go about it? Blah, blah, blah." That's why, again, I love how Zack Snyder told him, short and simple, don't compromise. Do what you have to do, but don't compromise. He didn't give him ideas. He didn't give him any, he just didn't give him ideas. And I love that. Zack Snyder knew that he was onto their bullshit. Like saying, "Yo, I know what y'all trying to do." Because Infinity War and Endgame sounded a lot like the original plans from Zack Snyder. Remember, in the original plans, and I'm glad that this did not work out. If you're familiar, when Zack Snyder originally was going to make, Justice League, he was going to have Batman die. And, a whole bunch of craziness and stuff like that. I'm starting to think, you know what, most of the stuff was just like a just a cover up, just to see how far Marvel would bite and see if they'll copy them. And what did they do with the Avengers? They killed off Tony Stark. And then look at where they're at. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, what the hell? What happened? I'm glad Zach didn't do that with Ben Affleck's Batman, because we still have him. But meanwhile, Marvel's stuck because now they have to do variants, or they're probably gonna do a clone, or they're gonna do some type of hologram. Who knows what the hell? And it defeats the purpose of Tony Stark at the end sacrificing himself. And it's like, how do you ruin that? Marvel went out with a bang with that movie and stuff, with Endgame and Infinity War and all that stuff. So I'm like, damn, I hope that they really do something where it connects and it actually works. But I love how when the Russo brothers, literally, this is how sneaky they were, that they gave a slice of pizza when they were eating that pizza, and Zach just took a bite. He's like, "Don't compromise." He was just like, "Don't compromise." And I love how Zach is just like playing with them. Like, he knows that they're bullshitting him and he's bullshitting him back. And then I was like, "Yo, that he knows exactly what he's doing." And it's like, "You're not gonna steal my ideas." I wouldn't either. I wouldn't have given the Russo brothers any feedback and say, "Oh, I would do this and I would do that." And I guarantee you, Zach was probably in the inside ready to say, "I would do this and I would do that." But he was like, "Nah, man, these are my competitors right here." That's how you have to think. That's how DC should think. You need a person in charge that has a plan. Zack Snyder has a plan. He had the plan. He still has the plan. He hasn't moved on. He's ready to continue and do more. The thing is that the bad management at Warner Brothers are the ones that didn't let things happen. And why? I'm just speculating. I'm just thinking, but I'm starting to think that half, if not most, of those scumbags that were, on the board, if you want to say, from Warner Brothers, they were all getting a check under the table, meaning dirty money, you know, from the competitor to prevent Zach from actually outperforming the Marvel Cinematic Universe, if you want to say. And if DC would have kept on going, Warner Brothers, if they had balls, they would have just been like, "You know what? Screw Rotten Tomatoes. We're gonna keep on going with the R-rated system because it works. It literally works." Deadpool and Wolverine's rated R, and it made $1 billion plus. See what I'm saying? Wolverine, the last Wolverine, rated R. They made money. Why is WB so scared of the R rating? It's like, yo, you have your characters. Absolute Batman. That comic is like the best thing out there, right? So the ones that have read it and stuff, they keep telling me, "Yo, read it, read it, read it." It just doesn't catch my attention. Maybe one day, but just the art, the style, it's just not my thing. The good thing is that it's on that R-rated tone. And that's what works for DC. DC has always been dark. I don't know why they want to all of a sudden go PG-13. Now with James Gunn, you might as well just say it's rated G for everyone, because it's like completely, it's just a joke. It's a joke. DC has become a joke. And this brand, It's like it's sad to see that it keeps on sinking. Many of us just want the best for this company. But the thing is that you have knuckleheads that are running the studio. They don't care. And then when they quote unquote care, they don't care enough. You have James Gunn, oh, I care, and I'm gonna give y'all this and that. No, he doesn't. We saw it with the Flash. We saw it with Aquaman too. We've seen it with everything because he's been infiltrated at DC since what, like 2019. And of course, when he got his movie in what it was like 2020 with the Suicide Squad, it literally came out during the pandemic. I knew that things were bad. I was like, this is gonna be bad. It's gonna end up bad. And look at where we are right now. What we are, like 5 years deep into this mess with James Gunn at DC. It doesn't work. It's never going to work. And DC needs to wake up and say, yo, you know what? Yeah. Why did you even extend the contract? Because of David Zaslav. As long as David Zaslav has that power, he's going to continue to protect James Gunn and Peter Safran. The Flush tanked. What's it? Blue Beetle tanked. Shazam 2 tanked. Shazam 2 was such a mess. Like it was so bad, and you can clearly see that was James Gunn, moving strings and doing things behind scenes. And then his wife comes out in that movie at the end credit scenes. And then he comes out, he's like, "Oh, I didn't have nothing to do with it." Yes, you did. Yes, you did. You're James Gunn. You're the one with the power. Of course you have strings to pull. That's you. You're the one in power. Don't bullshit us. Straight up, don't bullshit us. And that's what he's been doing. He's been bullshitting and playing everybody. And just like that, Netflix is playing everybody also. Because now them saying, "Oh, we only want to focus on theatrical release for 17 days." That's less than a month. That's what, like almost 3 weeks? Almost. Because in 2 weeks, yes, almost like 3 weeks. What does that tell you? What is that telling you? They don't care. They don't care. Netflix doesn't care about it. Once they own the IPs, it's like, yo, that's it. We have the gauntlet with all of the gemstones on it, and that's it. We have the power because they're gonna own and control everything that Warner Brothers has. And once they have DC under that umbrella, don't think that they're not gonna go ahead and start ruining things. Some of y'all might be like, "Oh, but I believe in Netflix. Oh, Netflix is the way. Oh, Netflix is the one that should be this and that, right?" Some of y'all are some real hardcore Netflix fanatics and lovers, right? I'm telling you right now, after seeing Stranger Things, the last episode, I was like, this was trash. And I'm telling you from a fan that doesn't even watch that show. I'm just the general audience right now. I'm just like, all right, let me see what this fuss is about. I look at ads and then you see Stranger Things. You see like freaking commercials, Stranger Things. I'm like, yo, what's up with this, right? So I checked it out and I was like, damn, this is bad. Like this is trash. Like it was really, really bad. And then and I'm like, damn, I can only picture if Netflix owns DC, what they're gonna do with it. And I'm like, they're gonna keep pushing that trash. I'm guarantee you they are going to push that trash. Most of the fans, if not most, majority of the ones that want this whole Netflix deal to happen, I'm telling you right now, these are the same ones that they support everything that's bad in our system right now. Honestly, they're the ones that are that. And you just can't be normal. You just can't, in the sense of being a fan and saying, "Hey, I'm okay as long as everything is however the hell they want to put it. I will settle for less." No, man, we shouldn't be compromising. Enough is enough. No more compromising. We've compromised for all these years, and look at the shit that we're in. This is the shit that we're in for compromising all these years. After Zack Snyder had to step away because of his daughter, R.I.P. to Autumn, what happened? Oh, the studio, some fans were like, "I'll compromise. They're gonna bring in Joss Whedon." Yeah, I believe in Joss Whedon because he did the first Avengers. Watch, Justice League is going to make $1 billion. Once they brought in Justice League, I mean, what's his name? Joss Whedon. I was like, oh no, here we go again. This shit's gonna become a whole Marvel copy and paste again. And what happened? It became that. It literally became that. And some people were like, "Oh, it's Marvel 2.0." Yeah, exactly. That's what it became. Now with James Gunn, it's Marvel 3.0. We've already moved past the 2.0. We're at Marvel 3.0. Because literally with Joss Whedon, I was like, what the hell is this, man? Like, a lot of us knew. And then, of course, from there, the movement came, released the Snyder Cut. We have the Snyder Cut. Now that we got the Snyder Cut, we want more. And that's what we're still here fighting. And, of course, today with the big trending event, for Restore the Snyderverse, what is that showing you? What is that telling you? That we haven't moved on. The fans haven't moved on. The cast hasn't moved on. Not once have I heard any of the cast members. besides sell out Momoa, because Momoa fully sold out. He's over there at James Gunn, and like he straight up bent both knees just to play Lobo for Supergirl. That's what he wanted. That's what he wanted. It's all good. We don't need you in the Snyderverse anymore. Your role has been fulfilled. Mara, Amber Heard has replaced you. That's it. Let's be real. We don't need Aquaman no more. He's done. He's done. We don't need him. Straight up. I'm tired of people trying to defend, oh, we need Aquaman. No, the fuck we don't. We don't need Aquaman. Dude is gone. Darkseid killed him, and he's been already replaced in the future by Mara. That's where things left off. Some of y'all forget to see that and understand that. Remember, when Zack Snyder gave us the Snyder Cut, it was showing us everything. Past, present, future. It showed us everything. We saw that from the beginning with Batman vs. Superman. When you see Bruce Wayne fall asleep, the Flash appears from the future and tells him what the future events hold and what was going to happen. Lois has always been the key from day one. So what is that telling you? At the end of the Snyder Cut, when we got the epilogue, I'm getting chills just telling y'all this, because I can see far past than what some people are just looking. Some people are just like, oh, I'm just looking at it from this point of view. You got to look at it from 360, the big picture. You have to see it in the IMAX screen, big. You got to see it like that. What did Zack Snyder do in the Snyder Cut? He set up things for the future, things in the present time. That's what we're focused on, and things of the past. How? Some of you might be like, well, I don't get it. He just gave us what he gave us in the Snyder Cut. Look, how do you go about with what was happening in the Snyder Cut? Darkseid won. That's the future. Did not Batman see that in Batman versus Superman? He was having the nightmare visions, right? He was seeing what was going to come. He was just having random nightmare visions. And then it finally happens. Darkseid rules the world, period. So it happens, all right? Now, members of the Justice League, like Wonder Woman, she's dead. She got killed by Darkseid. But I remember reading something that they were setting up with that Wonder Woman, that she was supposed to come back later, like evil under his control and stuff like that. So, and remember, all of this connected. It was starting to set up and leading into the New Gods. So shit was going to get real. See what I'm saying? And that's what I want to see with Zack. All of that is right there pending and waiting. And that's what WB needs to capitalize with. You have now in the future the Nightmare timeline, because that's where things left off in the Snyder Cut. We have Superman under Darkseid's control. Superman. Darkseid has him literally by the balls. What is that telling you? Yo, okay, damn, he really got him. He killed Aquaman. You see it with the laser beams, it just and he hits him with the trident, whatever, his own weapon. So Aquaman is done. We don't need him anymore. He's been replaced by Mara, and even Mara said it. She's like, I want to spear, I want to spear him through the heart for what they did to Arthur. What is she telling you? She's acknowledging that Arthur is dead. Aquaman is done. He's dead in that timeline. Why do we even need Aquaman? He's done. You can't go back and with the multiverse. Fuck all that. He's dead. Period. He's done. His character is done. And now Mara holds his trident. That's what she's fighting along with the rest of the cast that's, from the Justice League. And what do we see with Batman? Batman, and we see Deathstroke. What? I want to know what happens with that. How do you go back with that? You need to go back and, this is where you tap into the past. What happens? They have to make a Ben Affleck standalone film, which is the Batman movie with Ben Affleck. So you go back to past events, and then later you connect it into where we are current time and setting up future events. That's the whole thing. Zack knows exactly what he was doing. And the same thing we got with David Ayer when we got not the Ayer cut, when we got with Suicide Squad. What was it? It's still unknown because we don't have the Ayer cut. So we don't really know his full vision, what he was going to do. But he has told us that it connects a lot deep. And what we've seen with Suicide Squad is like, yo, there's so many things that could come from this, And then you have, of course, Jared Leto's Joker, all right? And then you even see when Ben Affleck's Batman is literally telling Joker, he's like, yo, I'm going to kill you, And then he emphasizes it. I'm literally gonna honor the promise that he had told Harley Quinn as she was dying in Batman's arms. I was like, damn. If you look at this, all right, this is a small little detail that I thought about. If you think about when what do you call it? When Batman appears in Suicide Squad, and he goes after Joker and Harley, and I guess in the Bay Area, water area, I don't know what, when the car goes into the water. when he brings out Harley, he's carrying her, right? He gives her like the mouth to mouth, and she starts kissing him, whatever. And I'm like, damn, she's alive there. That is a nice little like detail, because now you picturing and you're seeing when Batman's telling Joker, I had Harley Quinn in my arms, and as she was dying, she was saying to kill the Joker. And Batman's like, I'm going to fucking honor that promise. Like, I'm gonna fucking kill you. And Joker just starts laughing like, oh, you almost had me with that. Like trying to do how Darkseid got Superman. What's Superman weakness besides kryptonite? Lois. That's what his weakness is. That's why he's all, like the way he is under Darkseid's control. So I'm like, damn, yo, that's pretty deep when you think about that. And I'm like, yo, Marvel cannot come up with things like that. They just can't. And that's what I'm enjoying and I'm loving from what we're doing still with this fight. And we have to keep on going. We just cannot stop, and we will not stop. And that's what Hollywood is scared of. Hollywood fears quality. And Zack Snyder, David Ayer, all these directors, Michael Bay, all of them bring that. And when you give quality, they fear that because they don't want quality. They want to keep on pushing their agendas. For some reason, they want to keep on pushing that. But fans everywhere are fed up with it. We're seeing it with so many different IPs. It's not just with DC. There's so many IPs that are out here, and people are fed up with it. People just want good quality. And when you make and put out good quality, people are going to straight up support it. They are. They're going to support it. They're going to, enjoy it, and that's all that matters, honestly. Look, I see your comment right now, Cryptid 6096. Look, what do we do with the Flash? We keep Ezra Miller. And I'm tired of excuses and people saying, oh, but he this and he that. Yo, I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. You have to understand, right? You have actors and actresses, right? That they have personal drama. So because they have a little personal drama, you're not gonna watch the movies? Bullshit. Get out of here. I'm sure you buy merchandise, and you have stuff that you support from actors and actresses, probably directors that are scumbags, and that's not a problem. It's okay, right? You know how many things are probably in Disney, but I'm sure that some of y'all are okay with it. You're like, oh, that's excusable. We're gonna let that one slide under the radar. But when it's Amber Heard or it's Ezra Miller, oh, then we all have a fucking problem, right? Come on, man. Stop with the bullshit. Let's stop with that, please. I'm tired of it. I don't want to hear about it no more. I want Ezra Miller back just for the sake of continuity. That's the only reason why. I don't care what he does in his personal life. I don't care if he's whatever the hell he is. That's his problem. He's entitled to do whatever the fuck he wants in real life. That's him. When it comes to movies, I don't sit there and be like, damn, you know what? This person has this charge pending or has this or that. I don't care. I don't give two shits. That's their problem, not my problem. I'm here to see the character in the movie that I'm watching. That's it. How many people in Hollywood aren't scumbags? If not all of them. They all are. That's why it's called Hollyweird. That's who they are. So when people come here and say, oh, I don't want to see this actor, this actress, or this person and that person, yo, you're looking at it from the wrong point of view, honestly. You have to look at it from the entertainment side. I don't look at it from like, oh, they did this and they did that. I only care about, these actors and actresses. That's all I care about. I want to see the character continue. Hey, if you got to recast, so be it. I don't care. But I don't want to see the recast just because the continuity. And I get it. Some people are not going to agree with that. It is what it is. But I don't have a problem with them. I don't have a problem with Ezra Miller. I don't have a problem with, with Amber Heard. Not my problem. I like them. They're good. Some might be like, oh, no, but this and that. I don't care. That doesn't bother me. It's all good. Same thing with the people in Marvel. Not my problem. I don't care. I'm not the one in their shoes, so that doesn't affect me. I just want good movies. I want to see these characters continue and just be portrayed the way that they were meant to be and stuff like that. If they have to kill them off or do whatever they have to do just because in the story or whatever to get them off screen, so be it. Do it. I know when they were filming Aquaman 2, a lot of people were saying, oh, Amber Heard, her character's going to die, blah, blah. And I was like, damn, I don't know. I didn't see the movie until I actually watched the movie. No, they didn't. They never killed her character off. But you could see that they reduced her time on screen. But for the time that she got on screen for the second film, I was like, yo, bravo. Well done. Well done. I like that they did that, honestly. While everybody was still complaining and crying because of the trial that happened, I don't care. It's not my problem. What do you think, that Johnny Depp doesn't have skeletons in his closet? Everybody in Hollywood does. That's what this industry is all about. But we don't focus on that. We focus the same thing with politics. Look, real quick. Some might be like, "Oh, I don't support this one. I don't support that one because he's this or because they're that." I don't give two shits, honestly. You could be supporting whoever the hell you want. Just don't ruin my movie. That's it. Don't ruin my movie. Have you ever been enjoying a meal and you're eating and you're enjoying it, the flavors, the everything, right? The texture, whatever it is that you're eating. And then all of a sudden somebody wants to just come around and ask stupid questions and just randomly just talk, right? And you're like, yo, I'm trying to enjoy my meal. Like, let me be, right? Let me just enjoy these 10, 15 minutes. Let me just be right now. Let me savor every juice. No, but then they want to continue and then they just ruin your meal, right? That's exactly how this is too. When you bring in politics, when you bring in agendas, when you bring in all the nonsense that have nothing to do with that. Nothing. That's exactly how I feel when I'm watching a movie. When I'm watching a movie, that's what I want to see. I want to see Batman fight and I want to see him kicking ass. Some people are like, oh, but Batman in the Snyderverse is too dark. He doesn't kill, and he's not supposed to do this, or Superman, or Wonder Woman, and blah, blah, blah. You know what? I'm tired of it. I like that. The same way that you like seeing the stupidity that James Gunn puts out with Peacemaker, with whatever the hell he's doing, and you're enjoying that, that's how I feel when I'm watching Zack Snyder's movies, when I see Michael Bay's movies. You know how many fans tell me, oh, you're not a real Transformers fan because you support Michael Bay. Why? Because I like good shit? And you settle for anything? It's already proven. Let's not even talk about that topic. That's the same thing with DC, you know? And a lot of people don't understand that because they want it their way. Those are the ones that are fucked up because they only want it their way. Those are the fake fans. Real fans are going to be like, yo, all right, it was a decent movie. It was all right. You know, it was this, you could talk about it. We don't have to agree on it. I don't like the Batman from Matt Reeves. Some of y'all will. Some of y'all do. Some of y'all don't. But are we going to dislike each other? No. No, we're not. But then I talk about Snyder content on my channel, and then there's other clowns out there, probably they're here watching, you know, and then they go to their channel and start ranting about my opinion. That is a joke. To me, that's a joke. You are completely, like, there's no words to describe that those people are messed up, you know, in every way, shape, and form, because they have to go and make a video because they got so triggered about what my opinion was about. And I love it. I love to say what I feel, and people get pissed off about it because it just shows you, you know what? Here you have a regular person, you got a messed up person. If you get triggered by what somebody's saying, whether it's a song, a movie, a cartoon, or whatever, guess what? If that offends you, that's your problem. You have to fix that. These movies give us what they give us. And that's why we, when it comes to it, we're the audience. Are we going to watch what we want? Yeah. Am I going to support everything that's out there? No. I'm a DC fan. And guess what? I'm not supporting James Gunn's movies. I'm just not. What? Are you going to dislike me because of that? No. Right? I'm not going to dislike you because you keep on watching. Right? But you're seeing the state of this company. DC's going downhill. It's not working for them. You didn't see all that when Zack Snyder was there. You didn't see that with the Transformers brand before. People are like fed up with all this crap that they're putting out there. Tell me that the most recent products of whatever IP that's out there, whether it's the TMNT, Transformers, DC, Marvel, has been good. No. And it's proven to you that it's not. Video games, everything is tanking. Not just movies, everything. And that's just showing you where we are in this entertainment business, you know? It's crazy, but it's okay to have opinions. It's okay to be like, hey, look, I don't like this character because of this, or this actor or actress because of that. It's all good. I only care about, yo, I want to see what they're going to do in this movie. How does this connect? That's all I care about. That's all I care about. Look, when they brought out Spider-Man No Way Home, I grew up watching, what's his name? Tobey Maguire, right? He was during the Michael Keaton era. And then we had Andrew Garfield. That was like Ben Affleck's era. And then we have now Tom Holland, which is, I don't even know what the hell's going on. If you want to say with James Gunn Superman era, that's what you have, right? It just shows you. Now, am I going to dislike somebody because they enjoy James Gunn and they like his movies? No. I'm just going to be like, we just don't have the same taste. I mean, we can still talk. We can still kick it and stuff. But I'm not going to be watching those movies. But then they get triggered. Oh, but you're not a fan because you don't support it and you're not out there and blah, blah. And I don't have to watch it. The same way that you don't have to watch the Snyder stuff. You just don't. Oh, but you come up with every excuse and you add on to it, right? You literally come up with every excuse so people don't, agree with you or see your point of view. And it's crazy. It's crazy. I'm tired of the excuses. That's why in the end, like I said, we're all fans and we're all entitled to enjoy what we want to enjoy and what we're gonna like. No, I'm not woke, man. I'm not woke. I've never been with that type of content. That's why I don't support it. That's what I'm saying. And a lot of people some people enjoy that stuff. All right, cool. That's your stuff. Yo, keep on eating it. I'm not gonna be here stopping that. If these studios want to continue it, but what is showing you when they're not doing and putting out content, and that's why shows get canceled, movies don't get made, games are tanking, everything that's going like completely, it's insane. It's completely insane. That's why I'm like, yo, you know what? In the end, like I said, people get mad because we're still here fighting for the Snyderverse. People get pissed about that. I'm like, yo, what's it? Why is it such a big deal to you? Something is triggering you, and I know what it is. It's quality. You don't like quality. People that don't like quality, that's what they do. They complain, they argue, and they just complain and find fault in everything because they don't like quality. That's what it is. With James Gunn, some of you might be like, oh, but James Gunn's delivering, he's cooking, he's giving quality. No, he's not. No, he's not. Because if he was giving quality, we wouldn't even be talking about this. I would have been like, yeah, you know what, damn, dude's giving good stuff, and no, he's not. I'd be lying to you. I'm not sitting here and chill about it and say, oh, damn, he knows how to cook. No, he doesn't. James Gunn, he belongs at Marvel. He belongs doing Guardians of the Galaxy. There, okay, that's his thing. That's his thing straight up. Peacemaker, he has no clue. With Superman, why is he even allowed to make a Superman movie? He should have never done one in the first place. That's all going to affect his career. And you're seeing it. Look at that. Season 3 of Peacemaker. Not moving forward. But don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if it does happen. You know why? Because James Gunn's in power and he's being protected by David Zaslav. So it could also come back. As long as he's there being protected by him, then things can still happen with him. Honestly, it's like what the hell, It's just a mess, But in the end, like I said, we have to keep on fighting for the Snyderverse. And y'all want to see us stop talking about it? Just give us what we want. That's it. It's that simple. It's that simple. But guess what? They don't want to because they know that the quality is there. That's why. If they go ahead and restore the Snyderverse now, guess what people are going to be talking about? They're not going to be talking about James Gunn's projects. They're not going to be talking about Matt Reeves' projects. Zack Snyder posts pictures on social media, right? And it gets so much traction. Everybody's loving it. Everybody's talking. People forget that the DCU exists. People forget that James Gunn's movies exist. People don't care about that. And that's what bothers these James Gunn fanatics. All these fake fans that nobody's eating up their slop. And I say how it is. That's slop. With James Gunn, all he's putting out is literally a bowl after a bowl of slop. And these fake fans are eating it. You can't sit here and be like, damn, that's quality. No, it's not. No, it's not. From beginning to the end, it's a joke. It's a mess. It's a disaster. I can only imagine what WB literally had to suffer when they saw the first few cuts of what James Gunn's Superman was going to be. I remember people were saying it. Oh, it's straight up a Guardians of the Galaxy. And that's exactly what we still got in the end. A Guardian of Metropolis. Like the meme has been going around. That's literally what it was. That's not a Superman movie. Never will that be a Superman movie. The last Superman movie was in 2013 with Henry Cavill, Zack Snyder, Man of Steel. We have not gotten another Superman movie since then. So you had all this time. James Gunn literally had, 12 years? 12 years, 12 long years DC and WB had to bring in somebody good. Somebody that was worthy of it. And they bring in Bozo James Gunn. And this is the best that you can do? Wow, this is terrible. That's the best? Really? I remember when everybody was chanting, oh, Superman from James Gunn. That's it. They're going to cook. They're going to make $1 billion on day one. When they started seeing all the feedback and the early screenings and everything, what happened? Oh, no, it's not going to make $1 billion, but as long as it makes $900 million, oh, y'all lower your standards, huh? Oh, 800, huh? Oh, we're going to keep going down instead of up? Oh, okay, let's keep going. Oh, it's going to make 700 million. As long as it makes 700 million, we're good. Oh, okay. You still didn't believe that. Y'all straight up skipped 6 and y'all went straight to 5. Oh, as long as it makes 500 million. Then y'all kept lowering your standards. You guys lowered your standards till it met, if anything, the Flush from Andy Muschietti, 2023. Andy Muschietti's The Flush, it made 90 million at the box office when it came out. And I'm a Snyder fan. I like Ezra Miller. but that wasn't it. That just wasn't my Flash movie. It wasn't. That's not the movie we were supposed to get. And that's what WB wanted to do. You wanted to do the Marvel formula, and again, it tanked. It did not work. You should have just continued and ended properly with Zack Snyder. That's it. If you would have moved away from that, we would have been done and we wouldn't be having this conversation. None of us. We would have been like, yeah, all right, whatever. We're in a new phase. We're in whatever the hell we're at, right? But no, the studio has made it this difficult. And for that, this is why we are right now in this conversation. And we continue to fight. And not only that, we continue to trend because Zack Snyder puts a post and it outperforms what James Gunn puts. James Gunn tries to put out something, nobody cares about it. Nobody cares about it. Not enough people are caring about it. But Zack Snyder, people are on his page literally. Yo, did he post? Did he post? They're like straight up like, yo, they're like leeching just so they could talk about it. You even have the haters talking and literally leeching on his page just so they can try to talk smack. Oh, he posted another picture and blah, blah, blah. And what happened? It irritates them. And we're here enjoying, we're feasting, we're still talking about the Snyderverse. Because in the end, we're going to get the Snyderverse restored. And you know it. The same way that you haters and doubters said that we would never get the Snyder Cut. Remember all those fake channels and all those fake friends and all of those people that we saw, all those fake fans everywhere, blue check marks, everybody, right? They were like, oh, the Snyder Cut is never going to happen. Oh, it's never going to, it doesn't exist. Oh, the Snyder Cut this and that, right? Everybody was making fun of us and literally mocking us, right? It was so much that it even made it to Barbie, shitty Barbie movie, right? As a joke. And what does that tell you? That we made an impact in this culture, if you want to say. Because when you had, I forgot who it was, that somebody was like, oh, give me the Snyder Cut. And they were talking about, I think it was like a steak at a restaurant. Somebody was like joking around and they're like, oh, give it to me the Snyder Cut version. And they were like, what? They're like, yeah, give it to me all how it's supposed to be, talking about it like that. But it just shows you it's crazy. It's an impact. It's an impact when it comes to this entertainment culture, if you want to say. And it's beautiful. You don't see that with James Gunn. You don't. You really do not see that. Nobody cares about James Gunn's Superman. Nobody's interested. Barely anybody's interested for Supergirl with Millie Alcock. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Matt Reeves, we don't even know what the hell's going to happen in the next movie. And what is that telling you? They're tired. They're tired. Meanwhile, Marvel, they've been eating. They've been eating. Even though they've been eating like whatever and scraps and stuff, but they're fixing it. DC, you can't say that. Once things came out with the Suicide Squad from James Gunn and it tanked, that's the worst performing movie of all at DC. Literally, the Suicide Squad. And I don't care. No, it was not because of the pandemic. It really wasn't. Because during the pandemic, No Way Home came out. And I remember seeing those theaters when I was in there. People with their little masks and people were sitting on the stairs. Everybody was cramped in that bitch when they were doing that social distancing, right? Everybody wanted to see Spider-Man No Way Home. I remember when Andrew Garfield came out, I was like, yo, when that portal opened, I was like, hell yeah, that has to be Andrew Garfield. When I saw those big bug eyes on his spider suit, I was like, hell yeah, that's my Spider-Man right there. See what I'm saying? And that's what Marvel has been doing. They've been capitalizing with that. And that's what DC needs to do. All these years, DC has straight up dropped the ball. They've missed so many opportunities. And all they have to do, literally, they don't even have to sell. All they have to do to save their ass is literally just say, hey, we're going public. We're going to apologize. We screwed up with Joss Whedon. We screwed up with Ray Fisher. We want to fix it. We want to apologize. All right, cool. Then you got my support. I'll be like, all right, now we're talking. I respect the person that messes up and they admit it. Yo, you know what? I messed up. Like my bad. All right, cool. That's respect right there. But when you do the scumbag move of like, you messed up and you continue and you act like, oh, nothing happened, right? You just brush it off and that's it, right? Then I have a problem. That happens to everything. That happens, with management. That happens with friends. That happens with whatever you want to call it, right? It applies to everything. When they're trying to do you dirty. And that's what the studio has done to us, that the audience, the fans, the customers, consumers. And that's what they did to the directors, the cast, the music composers, and everybody that was part of that product. DC is where it's at right now because they've allowed it. They could have saved themselves a headache and they would have been winning and capitalizing. But no, no, they're still trying to be like Marvel, still trying to, oh, well, we're going to do this. You clowns are still in phase one. You haven't even made it to phase two. And then when you think you've made it to phase two, guess what? You're back at the beginning again. Because what? Oh, we're going to reboot again? You're never going to get off the ground. You're never going to get off the ground. You had with Zack Snyder a plan, you had a blueprint, you had everything, you had the foundation literally being built right before you, and the foundation is still there. But what did James Gunn do? James Gunn came in and said, you know what? I'm not building on this foundation. Screw it. I'm going to build on sand. And that's what he's been building on. His little sand castle has been being, it's been built on sand. And we're just waiting for that tsunami wave to come in and completely, like straight up mess up his little sand castle. Meanwhile, the foundation is still sitting there from Zack Snyder, is there waiting for his return. And once he does come back, because we know he's going to come back, guess what? Then things could go back to what was working. And that's when WB is going to have to realize, hey, you know what? Damn, all these years you could have been making money, but you decided to turn your backs. And once you see, hey, that's what was working, like now Marvel knows what's working for them, bringing in Chris Evans, Robert Downey Jr., the list continues. They know that that's what's going to bring in the fans. That's what's going to get the audience. I'm going to tell y'all right now, I can only imagine. Think about this. We're in January 2nd, 2026. We just started the year literally a day ago. And I'm telling you what's going to come. Wait until San Diego Comic-Con this year. Wait until New York Comic-Con this year. Guess what? The audience is going to be so damn, like everybody's going to be excited. Everybody, Hall H, all of that is going to be back again. I'm telling you, it's going to be lit. Last year when we saw Robert Downey Jr., look at how exciting everybody was. Like, oh, snap. Everybody was talking about it. Marvel knows what's up. They have the plan when it comes to the marketing and stuff. Of course, they got the money. But the problem is WB has too much pride. WB can't admit and say, yo, we messed up. Damn, we have to apologize. No, apologizing to these executives is the biggest and most difficult thing that there is for them to do. They could go ahead and get deals. They could do all this crap, right? They could do corporate stuff, but they can't apologize. You know why? Because just like the James Gunn cultists and all his disgusting following, they're all the same. They're all cut from the same cloth. It's not in their nature. It's not in them to be humble. It's not in them to be nice and kind. But they're sick, twisted, perverted, raunchy, and the list continues. That they're good at. And they won't admit it. And then when you prove them wrong, they toss and turn. They're bitter. They're sour. It's like putting lemon on them. And they're like, I can't, right? That's exactly how they are. That's why they constantly come to our channels. And I say our channels because they go to so many Snyder community channels and they want to go and just talk smack. You know how many comments I have to delete, people I have to block, and then they just come back out. They sprout again. I'm like, it's pointless sometimes because some way, somehow, they just come back. And I'm like, yo, whatever. I don't care anymore, But what is that telling you? That they just want to come in and leave their negative feedback and they feel good about it because you know why? It satisfied their ego. That's what it is. They just love to satisfy their ego. And that's what WB is at right now. That's what James Gunn is all about. That's what David Zaslav is all about. David Zaslav said in the beginning, oh, I want to sell it for the right price. Dude, you're getting $108 billion. You can retire. You'll be gone. And your family, the generation after that, probably like 5 generations are still going to be good. They'll be able to live to probably like the year 2060. And like that, it's just showing you, yo, that's a lot of money that you're just like saying no to. But what is that telling you? This is not about money anymore. It's going deeper than that. It's them trying to control the media and trying to lock everybody with their agenda. In the end, that's all they're pushing. They're just pushing another agenda. They don't care about the fans. They don't care about the consumer. They don't care about the quality. They only do that and say that when it's convenient for them. And then when they own the IP, guess what? Bye-bye everything. Because what haven't we seen Netflix cancel? What haven't we seen all these studios cancel and do terrible with the IPs that they own? A lot of them, right? That's just showing you what's to come. And I'm telling you right now, we have to keep on fighting. Whether WB sells or it doesn't, the Snyderverse has to be restored. And it will be restored. The same way that we got the Snyder Cut, and everybody was against us, we didn't give up. We kept on going, we kept on pushing. And then when you have people saying, oh, but your little hashtags don't work, really, they don't work? Apparently, they're very powerful, because when you have social media trying to silence you for using a damn hashtag, what is that telling you? They're scared, they're afraid, because they know that it's making noise. They don't like that. They really don't like that. When all of a sudden you're live, and then all of a sudden your connection got unplugged and it's disconnected, but you have a full bar, like it's happened to me, what is that? They're trying to silence us. When you can't upload a video because the servers are all of a sudden full, but then I go to another service with another account that I have and everything is working perfect, what is that telling you? They're trying to silence me. That's what it is. That's what it is, my friends. And that's what these James Gunn disgusting fans are all about. But meanwhile, here, us, within the Snyderverse community, we are the majority. We're winning. And to the ones that are like, how you're winning, you don't have anything with Zack Snyder and this and that. Oh, we're winning. Because look at where WB is at. Look at where their numbers are at. Look at where Zach is at, making products and movies with the UFC. The UFC, a brand that just literally bought out the WWE. Who would have thought that was going to happen? When back in the days, WWE was buying out their competitors. And now another competitor, which is from a different type of, on the entertainment side, bought them out. What is that telling you? What is that telling you? That they know where there's money. And that's what it's all about. In the end, it's really all about money. But now, looking at this whole sale and everything that has to do with David Zaslav, it doesn't look like it's about money anymore. And it's already proven. Because you can't tell me otherwise that turning down $108 billion dollars is okay. It's not. Let's be real. Turning away from that money for less, yeah, you're clearly trying to push something. And we're going to catch on to it real soon. Because in due time, everything's going to come out. Everything, you know? And like I said, until Zack Snyder doesn't say himself, hey, it's restored, I'm back, or whatever it is, we have to keep on fighting back. That's it. That's all we have to do. We can't do nothing else but fight back. We have to push back and say, yo, enough is enough. We're going to keep on fighting and we're going to give it all until we get the Snyderverse restored. If DC wants to bring in Zack while James Gunn is still there and they want to do something like how Marvel is doing, I'm going to be real with you. I don't think I could back that up. I don't. You know why? Because the same nonsense is going to happen. Just like with Walter Hamada and the old regime, nothing is going to change. We need Zack Snyder in full control of his DCU, and we need him to be, like, yo, just let him do what he has to do, however he has to do. There's no problem with Matt Reeves doing that, right? There's no problem with James Gunn. So why is it a problem if we want David Ayer and we want Zack Snyder to have the same treatment? Until that isn't allowed and they don't give him the full 100% right saying, hey, you can do what you want, how you want, then I will not believe it and I will not support it, honestly. Because in the end, we just need a solid answer. Zach is still on board because he's still putting pictures. And I'm sure he's going to put something up today, probably. I know he's aware of it, the trending event today that's happening for Restore Snyderverse. Make sure to keep using the hashtag everywhere. Don't just use it here on YouTube. Use it on everywhere. And let's get this algorithm going. Let it keep going, and in the end, the studio knows it. James Gunn's aware of it. I'm sure everybody's tagging him and stuff like that. And it's wild. It's wild. All it is the attention is there. The demand is there, the hunger is there, and most of all, the money's there. Because as soon as they announce it, hey, sign me up. I'm ready to buy whatever you're gonna put out there. It's just telling you that's where the quality is lying and stuff like that. So in due time, everything is gonna come back. Things are gonna get fixed. These studios have finally realized, hey, you know what? For the past 10 years, we've been dropping the ball, and you can see it. Studios are finally slowly starting to come to their senses, and that's something that was missing in this entertainment side. This is something that was missing in the world. Common sense, and I say it because that's what it is. Common sense, because everybody's been so stuck to their phones with TikTok and social media, and their attention span only lasts like, if not 10 seconds. They scroll to the next video. That's what happened. That's how society is right now. They can't comprehend quality anymore. It's whatever's more and more ridiculous, and that's what we're seeing with DC. And now people, are realizing, hey, What the hell? Like this is not it, and we're seeing it. We're seeing it. People are not excited for Supergirl. So James Gunn's Supergirl, this movie for this summer, it's not it. It's not it. It's just telling you, in due time you're gonna see how things are slowly starting to shift, and that's all that matters in the end. It's all about just giving the customer the quality, but that's what it is when it all comes down to it. The only way it could be brought back is Zack Snyder if Paramount buys Warner Brothers, whether it's Paramount, whether it's Comcast, whether it's Netflix, wherever, whoever the hell wants to do it. Honestly, at this point, the whole point is whoever ends up getting it, if it does sell or if it doesn't sell, the mission remains the same: restore the Snyderverse. That's it. We're not playing for this DC movie as long as Gunn is in charge. Yeah, as long as James Gunn's in charge, unfortunately, nothing is going to change. Need to work up. Nice. Yeah, yeah. Look, honestly, all we want is just good movies. That's it. I want to be able to say again, hey, I'm a DC fan. I'm enjoying because whatever this and whatever that. I can't say that. I haven't been able to say that for a while. And it's sad. It really is sad. For me to be rooting for Marvel, the competitor of DC. Think about that. Think about that. I mainly talk about the Snyderverse, and you all know it. If you've been following me since day one, or for whatever time it is, I thank y'all and stuff. But when I was like with a little low count of subscribers, I was making my videos even before actually focusing on the Snyder stuff. I was making review videos of toys from the Snyder stuff, So it's like, go back, see my videos from like 5, 6 years ago and stuff like that. I just didn't take YouTube as serious as I do now. And like it's always been there. The passion has always been there, and the love for the Snyderverse and stuff like that. But when you think about it, it's like, damn, what's so hard for the studio to like literally give us what we want? All we want is just good movies. What's so hard about that? But apparently for them, it's a very hard thing to do. You think yourself a hero, WB, but you would let the Snyder verse go free. Yeah, it's like WB, like WB be on that bullshit, honestly. Like it's just like it's overwhelming as a fan, and I have not been excited for nothing with DC after the Snyder cut. I have not been excited about nothing. When I saw the what is it, the flush, I was like, this is not it. Like you can clearly see it. Even though they had Ben Affleck and they had, his version of Batman, I was like, this is not it. I enjoyed it for the little 3 minutes that he was in that movie for, if you want to say like with the cameo and stuff. That to me was a cameo. I was like, damn, this is not even it. You know? I was like, damn, why are they focusing on freaking Michael Keaton? He doesn't belong in this universe. He's not even from this universe. He's from freaking a whole different timeline or whatever. And I'm like, damn, again, WB trying to push, just Michael Keaton and stuff like that. And I'm like, this is wild. It's completely wild, but it's just showing you where we are right now, and how things are where they are, And then I started getting excited again, with Black Adam, especially with that end. I was like, damn, Henry Cavill is back. I was like, hell yeah, like that was nice to see. I remember I went to a private screening for Black Adam, and when I saw the theaters, like when we were watching that private screening, when they saw Henry Cavill come in, a few of us were like, "Oh yeah, hell yeah," but most of the fans didn't know. I was like, "This is scary." I was like, "This is scary," because it's just showing you people are forgetting who Superman was. That's the thing, and that's what WB has done, made people forget who Superman was, and that's what It's disappointing. I've never been a Superman fan until I saw Zack Snyder's Man of Steel in 2013. Then I started liking Superman, and now I like Superman, but only that version. With James Gunn, I'm not interested. I'm just not. I just don't care about it. And it just shows you. It just shows you. Look, the quality was there, and people are just walking away, and they're more and more walking away from this company. You know, yeah, exactly. I agree with you, Ray. Black Adam was in the step of the right direction. It was because they were gonna go back to what was working until James Gunn finally came on board 100%. Once he came on board, scrapped everything. He scrapped everything. He already knew that he wanted to bring in David Cornsweet. We all know this. If we've been keeping up, he already wanted to replace him. They wanted to replace Henry Cavill with David Cornsweet. I remember reading rumors. Hey, they want to replace Henry Cavill with David Cornsweet. Some guy, David Cornsweet. Everybody's like, what the hell? And then they swept that under the rug. And it is what it is. But again, we have to show the studio, look, what we want is the Snyderverse to get restored. End it. End it properly. and we will all gladly grab our bags and go. I'll be like, hey, I'm good. I got what I finally wanted. That's all that matters. Now you can do whatever the hell you want. You want to make the whole DC into a straight up a full on circus, go for it. Go ham with it. I don't care anymore. But as long as we get what we want, that's all that I want, honestly. But seeing how the studio is, they're very, very, they're knuckleheads, like they're very stubborn. And an apology for them is like it's like asking too much, it's like, wow, like I don't get it. James Gunn screwed the Snyderverse fans, yeah, big time. Keaton fans and Superman TV fans, yeah, he screwed everybody. Yeah, they wanted to do that since 2019. Yep, I remember that. Sean, what up? What up? Appreciate you for joining us also. Yeah, it's like the state of DC where they are right now. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. And not being able to say, "Damn, I'm looking forward to the next thing," that tells you everything. Like I've been done with this brand for a while, and every time it's just they push us away more and more, and it's like they're okay with Peacemaker, they're okay with Superman, they're okay now with Supergirl. I'm like, what the hell, like what the hell, literally. Yeah, Peacemaker characters show up in Shazam 2. He started giving notes to the final films of the DCU. Blue Beetle, Flush, Shazam 2. Yep. That's what James Gunn does. Yeah, everything flopped. Everything's been flopping, and it's not gonna change this year. Don't think that Supergirl is gonna save it. Oh man, this one is going to be even worse than what last year's Superman was. This is gonna be bad. This year, I'm telling you right now, it's gonna be bad for DC. And I think what they have like two movies, Clayface and that. Yeah, that's gonna tell you everything, honestly. Um, yeah, James Gunn will flop. Supergirl, Clayface, Man of Tomorrow's next. That's even if we make it that far. But I mean, as long as he's being taken care of by David Zaslav, yeah. Unfortunately, we're gonna keep on getting more slop. Just like all James Gunn's other DC projects. Yep, everything has been tanking. Nothing has been working. It's too many bots, fans nowadays. Yeah, there's too many out there. When Zaslav's become CEO of WB, it was estimated that WB was worth a total of 45 billion. Now it's being sold close to 80 billion. Couldn't you argue that Zaslav corrected the ship? Nah, he hasn't corrected anything, honestly. It's just because of the important IPs. That's all it is. That's all it is. He hasn't fixed anything. If he fixed it, they wouldn't be in this mess. They wouldn't be selling, period. That's it. End of conversation. They wouldn't be selling. James Gunn will not touch Batman DCU for afternoon. I hope not. The posers looking forward to the garbage this year. We're never true fans. Yeah, they weren't. They weren't. Because that. Whoa, man! I cannot wait to see what the early screenings are gonna be, and we're hearing them for Supergirl. How bad that they are. I can only imagine what the final product is gonna be that they're gonna decide to go with. This is completely a mess. Completely. James Gunn says no to Wonder Woman, Man of Tomorrow, but Wonder Woman, she's not in it. Yeah. I think we will all never forgive WB for what they did to Ray Fisher, Cyborg. Yeah, big time. Sergeant, what's up? Appreciate you for joining us. Also, yeah, I mean, it's just time's gonna tell, But we're gonna see what's gonna happen. Honestly, Spider-Man Noir can't wait this year. I completely forgot about that, but yeah, I want to see that. I want to see what that's gonna be about and stuff like that. But yeah, my friends, again, Happy New Year. I want to thank y'all for watching, for tuning in, for all that good stuff. So I'm about to get going, and I guess I'm gonna catch you on the next time on the next video. So this is the first stream of 2026. Plenty more to come, my friends. Plenty more. I have a lot of things that I'm working on. I can't wait to show it and share it with y'all. I am working on issue 2 for my comic book Rebel Defenders. Issue 2 will be dropping hopefully sometime in February, if not early. So I'm working on that very, very hard, and I can't wait to show y'all very soon. I already put up a little clip of what I'm working on and things like that. So, but until then, I'm gonna check you out next time. Peace out.